let's read Revelation 5, verse 8, which begins, Now when he had taken the scroll, this is talking about Yeshua, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each having a harp and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. These next 2 verses are in Revelation also. I went to Revelation chapter 8, and I'm going to read verse 3 and 4. Then another angel, having a golden censer, like the ones in the temple, came and stood at the altar, which would have been the golden altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, with the prayers of the saints, ascended before Elohim from the angel's hand. Let's read 5 too. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. This is right before the 7 trumpets judgments. So these verses also are connecting the altar of incense and the incense to the prayers of the saints. Next, let's go to Luke chapter 1. I'm going to read verses 9 through 11. There's 8 right there. Let's start in 8. So it was that while he was serving as priest before Elohim in the order of his division, we're talking about Zacharias here, the one of the priests of the temple. According to the custom, verse 9, according to the custom of the priesthood, his lot fell to burn incense when he went into the temple of Adonai. And the whole multitude of the people was praying outside at the hour of incense. Then an angel of Adonai appeared to him, standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said to him, Do not be afraid, Zacharias, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John. And you will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth. So, from this we can see that Gabriel, which is who he says his name is, I think later on, went to see Zacharias about John the Baptist while Zacharias was offering the incense on the golden altar. There's another example of Gabriel responding to someone who is praying during that period, and I'll show you where that is. I'm going to be going to Daniel chapter 9, verse 21. Alright, I'm in Daniel chapter 9. I'm going to start reading at verse 20. Now while I was speaking, praying, and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before Yahovah, my Elohim, for the holy mountain of my Elohim. Yes, while I was speaking in prayer, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, reached me about the time of the evening offering. That would have been the same time that they were offering incense on the golden altar. Daniel still kept up with his evening prayers and his morning prayers. So this is Gabriel again. This was actually before John the Baptist, of course. But Gabriel seems to respond when people are offering their incense / prayers before Elohim in the morning and the evening sacrifices. Which takes me to the altar of incense / altar of gold. It's called both things in the Older Testament. So, hold on. Alright, now here we are in Exodus chapter 30. Let's look at verse 27. Here is our Alef Tav that is a standalone Alef Tav. I pull out the standalone ones, but as you can see, there's one with a hyphen. There's one with a hyphen, 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 hyphen. Most of the Alef Tavs are not standalone, but the ones without the hyphens are the ones that I pull out as being secret, pointing to Yeshua. Since in Revelation 4 times he says, I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. Well, here we have Aleph and Tavs that are standing alone by themselves, and they seem to represent Yeshua. Well, this one is Ve'et Mizbeach, which is altar, Haktoret, which is incense. Our verse reads in English, the table and all its utensils, the lampstand and its utensils, Ve'et, altar of incense. So this one refers to Yeshua. If we look up Haktoret in Blue Letter Bible, let's do that just for the new folks who haven't seen this before. Alright, I'm going to my other phone, and here's my other phone here. Oh, got a glare. And you can see it's Exodus 30:27, the table and all its utensils, the lampstand and its utensils, and the altar of incense. Well, we see no Aleph and Tav, or we don't see Yeshua in this verse at all. But if you click on the Exodus 30:27, then our interlinear comes up. Right here is our standalone Aleph and Tav. You can see that they put the hyphen next to the ones that have hyphens, but they do honor the unhyphenated ones in Blue Letter Bible. So we could scroll down, and there's our standalone Aleph and Tav, Mizbeach. Sorry, my hand is shaking so much. Which is the altar, and the Haktoret, which is incense. If you click on the 7004 right here, which just means Hebrew 7004, I didn't mean to pull that up. But if you click on H7004, it gives you Ketoret, and you scroll down, show Strong's info, click on that, and it tells you fumigation, sweet incense, perfume. If you go down, outline of biblical usage, incense, smoke, odor of burning sacrifice, sweet smoke of sacrifice, incense, or perfume. So that's what Haktoret means. The hay in the front of it just means thee. This hay right here just means thee. Alright, well, there are 4 other instances of Aleph and Tavs, standalone Aleph and Tavs, next to Mizbeach. There's only one other instance where it says Haktoret. 3 say Mizbeach HaZahav, which is altar of gold. So let's look at those real quick. Alright, I'm in the next chapter of Exodus, chapter 31, and I'm in verse 8. And here you can see our Ve'et Mizbeach HaKatoret. Our verse reads, "The table and its utensils, the pure gold lampstand with all its utensils, Ve'et altar of incense." All right, those are the two instances where it says HaKatoret, altar of incense. Let's look at our altar of gold. All right, I'm in Exodus 39, and I did a video on this, or this was in a video just last week, about the arrow of Alef Tavs that point to Kodesh LaYahovah, holy to Yahovah. But we've got a Mizbeach Hazahav in this arrow. See our Ve'et Mizbeach Hazahav, altar of gold. And our verse reads, verse 38, "The gold altar, the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, the screen for the tabernacle door." So this has a standalone Aleph and Tav. The oil has a standalone Aleph and Tav. Incense has a standalone Aleph and Tav, and screen also has a standalone Aleph and Tav. But in this video, we're just looking at the altar of gold. Our next example is in Kings. All right, I'm in 1 Kings chapter 7, and I'm in verse 48. This one is very interesting because we have Beit Yahovah Et, house of Yahovah, the Yod He Vav He, Aleph and Tav. But then following that, we have Mizbeach Hazahav, which is altar of gold. So we have Yod He Vav He Et right next to each other. I love when that happens. And it's the house of Yahovah Et, Mizbeach, altar of gold. Our verse reads, verse 48, "Thus Solomon had all the furnishings made for the house of Yahovah Et, altar of gold, and the table of gold on which was the showbread." So that's a really, really important one right there. All right, our last one is in 2 Chronicles. We're going to go to chapter 4. Okay, now we're in 2 Chronicles chapter 4, and in verse 19, our English says, "Thus Solomon had all the furnishings made for the house of Elohim," this time, not Yod He Vav He, "Ve'et, altar of gold, and the tables on which was the showbread." So it's recounting what 1 Kings had just said. But we have Ha Elohim, well, Beit, house of Ha Elohim, Ve'et, Mizbeach, altar of gold. Right there. In other videos, I have commented that the Vav in front of the Aleph and Tav may be hinting at Yeshua's second coming, his return. So, which would have something to do with the Revelation examples we looked at earlier, because those are in the future. But here we have our Mizbeach Hazahav again. And so we can see from these examples that the golden altar and the altar of incense are connected with Yeshua. So when we're saying our prayers, well, I'll let you make your own conclusion about that, of how he's connected with the altar of incense.